Hello everyone, this is Chris Jamel at Exiton Interactive, and if you've ever had the situation in which you had some functionality in your application and say maybe not a lot of people use this app or functionality, but it's important and it consists of a lot of code, you don't want to include this in your bundles because maybe someone doesn't use it, or the sort of converse side, everybody uses it but it's not used right away, so you don't want to take the hit loading it when your application first starts. Then lazy loading might be the way to go. And in this video here, we are going to show how to set up lazy loading with Webpack, which turns out to be very, very simple. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. So inside of our source folder, we're going to create a lazy loading folder, which I've already created here. And incidentally, I've redone this Webpack project here so I can keep track, hopefully more easily, of what I'm doing and for different videos and whatnot. So in this case, we'll have the lazy loading folder, and we're going to create a new service here, so a new file here, and I'm going to create a, what did I call it, print.service.ts. Thinks it's an Angular thing. So let's export a class, print service, and inside of here, so what I want to basically deal with is, so if it was Angular, I'd have this, it'd already take care of it for me, creating sort of a singleton service that I could inject into different components. So in the end, we're going to have a couple different components that we want to have the, functionality included in. So I'm going to have this service contained within there, and I sort of want to create, sort of a singleton for it. So we'll do that ourselves. Print service, so we'll have an instance, private, static, is creating false, so we'll create a constructor here, give us an if print service is creating equals false, so if somebody's trying to use new, we want to stop them. What did I say? You can't call new to create print service instances. Call print service dot get instance, which we'll create here in a second. So I said we don't want anyone to call print service. Instead, we want to do that ourselves, and then so we're back down here, and that's actually all we need in the constructor. Alright, so now we public static get instance. What we'll do is say if type of instance equals undefined, or who knows, maybe somebody's evil. I guess it's, well, it's private in the TypeScript sense, but hey, maybe somebody else does it to us. So we'll have print service dot is creating equals true. So now we'll be able to set the instance. To set it back to false, and here we'll just say print service dot instance. Perfect. And we'll just put private. That's not helpful. Public print method will expect a message, which is a string. For now, all we will do is say print service and give us our message. So this will be obviously the service that we, again, I said we're not injecting because we're going to use React. I'm sure there's some kind of dependency injection you can do, but we'll just do it ourselves kind of thing. So we'll come in here, do inside the lazy loading folder, we're going to create a couple components. So new, call it lazy loading.component.tsx. All right, so import as from React. We want that print service. And class component1 extends react.component. Put our public render method on here. We'll return our empty stuff here. We'll put a div so we know which one we're talking about. Back up. And we'll put a button. On that button, we'll have an on click, which we will say is going to be this dot print. Just give it a method here for it to stop complaining at us. So we'll just send in a constant message print service dot get instance dot print. Give it the message. Good to go. Whoops, almost good to go. Export default component 1. All right, like I said, we want a second one, so we'll just say new lazy loading dot component. That was supposed to be component 2 down or 1 down there, so we'll fix that here. Rename component 1. So we're in component 2. Instead of typing, we're going to paste it. Same thing, right? Basically the exact same thing. We'll save that, and print service, good for now. We're of course going to need to include this in a page, so we're going to say new file. We'll say lazy loading.page.tsx. So import star, star as React from React. Same thing here, import star as React DOM from React DOM. And we need our components, so component 1, component 1, mess something up somewhere, figure that out. Wow. Really messed that up. So component 2. No, I'll leave the imports alone. I'll do it myself. Now, component 2. What are we complaining about? We're complaining about how I'm doing it. It's a default, not named. All right. Now, let's add it to the page, React DOM, render. Do our empty stuff going on here for the moment. Where do we put it? Document.getElement by ID. Root. Perfect. And inside here, we need our component 1 and our component 2. All right, so now as far as React is concerned, we can add it to the page, but we need a page. Well, jumping the gun first. Hold on. Let's go down here to the webpack.config. So like I said, I've sort of revamped things a little bit. What I'm going to do here is I have a webpack.common.js file, which has basically all the stuff that we've talked about in previous videos. You know, basically just adding everything to this, a module.exports object, exporting it out. So now what I'm going to do is go into a Webpack, which I call webpack.lazyloading.js. All it's going to do is pull in the common stuff. We're going to do some modification and then export it. So the thing that we're going to do add now is an entry object, which of course I did not have in the common because, hey, entry point is sort of local to everything, every different project. So this one, lazy loading, and the point to point, or the start point for that is source lazy loading, a lot of lazy loadings .page.tsx. So that's the start point for our entry, or our entry point. So now if we come over here, let's bring this over here, let's come down, do npm run build, just to make sure that we don't have any red going on. So we're, as normal, creating a common bundle, which is going to hold all the React code, and then the lazy loading bundle, which will handle all of our, as we can see, sources, the component, the page, and the print service. Okay, what's up next? Okay, so now we need an actual page to display this on. I'm going to use, in the context of ASP.NET Core, I'm going to use a Razor page to do it. Of course, it does not matter. You can use whatever you want to display it. So for thoroughness here, we're going to come to our pages, new file, lazy loading.cshtml. So in here, it's a page. No, I don't need any help there. The model is going to be lazy loading model, which we'll define later. We're going to go ahead and get the view data, give it a title. Loading, perfect. Semicolon in there, yeah. This is, of course, just saying that include the scripts within the page. And let me just copy this. There's a tag helper called environment, which tells I can say that we're in development. So otherwise, they would probably be bundle.min.js. So we add the common, the lazy loading bundles. I'm going to put a little h1 here, lazy loading. Of course, we need React's going to look for basically a div with an ID of root. Done there. So that's good. That's good. What we need is the model for our page. So lazy loading -html.cs. This thing is going to be as basic as it gets. So I'm not even going to type it. We'll just have a getter. So an on get. So display the page. Let's go back. Console here. All this is doing is starting up the web server here. Perfect. And bring it over here. Here we are. So it's running. Everything's going on. We have our component 1, component 2. If I press the buttons, we can look in the console. And we get exactly what we said before. Print service component 1. All right. So we know that everything's up and running. But what we want, so what I would do is, of course, include that service in the bundle. Now, we want code, or we need something to lazy load. So what we're going to do is come back to our source folder, lazy loading, new file, and we're just going to put print.ts. So this represents the code that we just want to, like I said, lazy load. So our export default, in this case, it'll just be a function print. It'll take in a message string, and then all we'll do is, once again, console log. This time we're going to change it up. We'll say lazy loaded print function, and put the message in there. So we'll save that, close it. That's all we need there. Now we need to go back to our print service. So we're in the print service, this print method. We were just console logging that statement. So let's take that away. What we want to do now is to say import, and relative to where we are here is the print TypeScript file that we just created. So we'll lazy load that. So what that'll do here, maybe it'll tell us, nope. But so this is a promise, or it will return a promise. So we'll do then, and then what Webpack will give us is a module. And if you Google lazy loading and whatnot, they'll tell you that what we'll get back from that module is not our, in this case, function. What we need to do is module.default to get our function, and then we'll just say print and message. Other thing that they'll point out, and it's important to know, right, is that this, like I said, the import is returning a promise. So if you're supporting a browser, an older browser, you might need to polyfill the promise. But we do need to do, so we do need to do one thing right now. So we need to tell Webpack that I do not want this import to result in this code being included in my lazy loading bundle. I want to go into this separate bundle. So let's sort of reformat this a little bit. And the way that we do that is to leave a comment up here. Oops, other way around. And we want to say Webpack chunk name, and we give it the name that we want, lazy loading dash print. We save that. Not quite done here. What we need to do is go back into our lazy loading Webpack area, and we need to give this a little bit more here. We need to say common.output. So there's another property. I guess if we look at the common output, we have file name, path info, public path, all this stuff. So we're adding a property to it, and that is called chunk file name. And inside of there, you can use our little sort of template variables. So what we'll get out of this is so we have this comment in here, Webpack chunk name, it says lazy loading print. So with this thing here, what we'll get, lazy loading print.bundle.js. All right, so that's saved. Go back to our console here, and I do npm run build. And I get out two bundles, the same bundles as I had before. We can see that lazy loading print is included in that. Obviously, not what I want. Spend 10 minutes scratching my head figuring out, because, as far as Webpack's concerned, you do this statement here, this comment, add this thing to the bundle. Lack of semicolons all over the place. And then you're done, right? So I left this in just to point this out to anybody else that comes across this. This is actually a TypeScript thing that's going on here. We need to change this module. We need TypeScript to not mess with my import statement here. So what we'll do, and I've forgotten now, like ES next or something like that. So we'll come in here, ES next. We'll change this to ES next, save it, back. Now we have our three bundles here, right? So we have our entry points. So those were just the common stuff, and we're going to generate the lazy loading